Hello, Giselle, and welcome to your aspects and degrees reading. You're going to hear a lot of this because I took notes in order to put this together, just to make sure I gave you a thorough breakdown. Um, that's what this reading is about. So, if you're into astrology, you may have had readings before, and you get an outline of what you're doing, who you are, sort of the blueprint for your soul. That is what we are looking at right here. The interesting thing about this is if you go further into the chart, let me see if it'll let me just be great today and click in. But as you go further into the chart, you start to realize that there's another level under here, sort of with a configuration, if you will. What we're going to look at today is pretty much the ingredients, the process. I'd say that ingredients are the aspects, I mean, not the aspects, I'm sorry, the planets and the degrees that we're going to talk about today. These are like exact ingredients. And the aspects, which are down here, are how you mix the ingredients in order to get the full outcome of this, um, which is the ascendant, who you came to be and who you will be known as at the end of this this life, this character, this particular journey for you as Giselle. So we're going to start right here with your ascendant at 5 degrees. We have that in 5 degrees Libra. This actually gives you a happier second part of your life. And you get to become a partner of some sort of corporation, or marry the son of somebody you're employed by. These are options, and we'll get into the fact of that there are different coordinates on here that also link to this in marriage and all that other thing. So understand that all of this is like a time release. We're going around the clock, and you go around this clock like at least between 10 to 12 times in life. Either way, you're riding this clock the whole time, and different things will be set off at different times. So be aware going into this. I am not aware of your life right now in such a way because you can't tell what has happened when. How about that? You just know that these things are sort of the pieces that are set in place for you to deal with the things that come your way and the lessons from that, and just know that it's said that your soul picked these things in here in order for you to grow and be a certain type of person. The family you picked and everything around you all sums up to you being this person that is an artist in some way, shape, or form, because this is Libra. Libra is about fashion, beauty, art, classical music, wine, just the finer things in life. This is an aristocrat. And also, it's important to remember that with 5 degrees, 17 degrees, 29 degrees, these are all the fame degrees. This is typically seen with shorter term fame. And what I mean by shorter term fame is something that's like 10 years or less. I also saw indicators in your chart that you are meant to be wealthy and you're going to have a peak in your fame, and then that's meant to slowly wane down and you go back to your other things that you want to do in your life, which it appears for you would to be able to have the finances you want in your career and the notoriety, and then to have a great home where you can relax and watch your family grow up. With you having your north node in the 10th house, it's actually meant for you to go from being with your family or working with your family or having to be very close um, with your family legacy, maybe even sacrificing something in order to help your family, then moving forward to becoming a leader in your career and really like kicking ass at that, before you're able to have the family life like you really want it. And after you achieve that financial status and that goal and your reputation and defining your ego, then you'll be able to enjoy your home life like you want. That's the big plan, the big coup de grace with all this stuff I'm about to break down. Just because I know some of these things are sensitive, and I wanted to give you the big picture at the beginning and not have you lingering or confused or anything. But if you have any questions at the end, please let me know. So let's get into it. We're going to start with next your restrictor. Now, your Saturn in Libra, 6 degrees. This is activated at the time you were 28, 28 through 30, roughly around that time. This is activated. So restriction of yourself with you having it in the first house. At 6 degrees means that any time that you displayed spiteful or aggressive behavior, um, that would be a very serious issue for you. It would actually be what was the thorn in your side and the thing that was stopping you from progressing in your relationships, or just dealing with people on a one-on-one basis or in partnerships. Um, Over time, it was meant for you to sort of turn in that into a way that you're able to help other people overcome crisis, just in general. See, that was what that was about. If you had any questions, um, the next indicator on here, or the next feature, um, is about your luck, your expansion, how you grow as a person in life because you chose to have the most luck at just being yourself. Um, with this at 8 degrees, this indicates a separation or a death in your childhood, that really changed everything for you. There's also a possibility of widowhood or second marriage, possibly. This also gives you extreme psychic gifts, like you would be amazing with cards or astrology just naturally because of this placement. Now, the last thing you have here is your transformation, your big phoenix moment with 22 degrees Libra here. This means you come from humble origins, but you have guaranteed fame or success in the arts, if you apply your intelligence. This is your transformer. This is activated at any time a planet comes across it. Like, for instance, it is in this house right now. The sun is in Libra, which means it's conjunct any of these pretty much for them, just different degrees of orbs. Uh, but there was always meant to be a transformation in who you are into this 22 degrees that I just told you about. Now, moving into your second house. The second house is your house of natural gifts that you were given in order to thrive in this life. Now, with you having Uranus, the planet of radical change here in Scorpio at 26 degrees, your eloquence, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, is your asset. You would have been very successful, or will be very successful, in anything that has to do with art, education, medicine, or military, if you're into that. Um, you have the ability to wield power very well. You understand strength, and you understand very well how to work with other people with power. This is a gift that you were given in order to conquer the rest of this chart. I need to address, hold on, let me back up here. I got excited. So this Saturn right here is square your midheaven. So that means that in the beginning of this life, that sort of restriction that you have on yourself that had to do with, I guess, fighting people, aggressive behavior, it says, um, that worked against you reaching your peak and your purpose. That is what a square is, something that is a lesson that you have to overcome, a hurdle of sorts. Um, the next one is Jupiter, and we're going to check Jupiter down here because this is where your aspects are. Jupiter is right here. The lesson with this was also your Jupiter was also working against. So that means, oh, where is the Jupiter? Ah, so you dealing with any separation you dealt with in childhood would be what gave you a hard time with moving towards what you wanted to in your main career and your family. That makes sense. Or even your gifts, because it says that's a part of this with this degree. Because every degree has a special assigned meaning to it that has been cataloged over time based upon a certain number of people having it. And so there's like a database for it for these things. So it's always really surprising. It's nothing that you know offhand. So we sort of learn these things together. So the way that you communicate is what we are dealing with next here. Um, with this Neptune, and I'm going to do these together because they sort of work together. They're always just writing. Um, with this Neptune here in the third at 22 degrees Sagittarius. So your natural gifts, the way that you speak, the way that you connect to people, any issues that you had in the beginning of life or whatever with being selfish or jealous, or not understanding that the choices that you were making sort of hurt your lovers. This was a difficulty in love and in communication in love that was set based upon past life patterns that had to be worn out. This is connected to your 12th house, which is the house of undoing. So that's just something to note. that maybe sometimes you might be fly at the mouth. That's pretty much what this means. So let's look at Neptune on here for your aspects. So that Neptune, that aspect of your speaking to people works with your transformation. So that means those energies work together. When you step into that partnership, there will be a partner, somebody that you marry that will change the way that you speak or make you be willing to change the way you speak. And that eloquence is what will be the transformer that helps you gain your success. Positive, right? Get into the quirks. So we're going to look at this Uranus now. Over here, Uranus is opposing your Chiron. Your Chiron and eighth we're going to get to in a minute, but it just means that that change that you have to make, that that what is the word I'm looking for? Your unique thing, the psychic gifts that you're able to use, this wielding power that you have, works against your wound and changing your belief system about magic. um, yeah, that's what that is. So please make a mental note of that and let me know how that resonates in your life because that's a very interesting quirk. All right, we're going to get over here to your IC. Your IC is who you are at your soul core when nobody else is around. And for you, with you having yours at Capricorn at 5 degrees, um, you are really devoted and selfless. This is not something most people know about you. And as a matter of fact, you actually have to deal with a lot of people gossiping about you. Um, very few people know how caring you actually are, and that you probably don't get recognized as much as you should for the kind things that you do because people tend to notice your exterior more because that's easy to be seen. You have a lot of stuff out front that shows you are a bold personality based upon this. So we're going to move on to your fifth house, where your next planet is. So the fifth house is your house of creativity and also your first child. With you having your moon here, your moon connects to your relationship with your mother, um, your feelings, your emotions, and the way that you sort of carry things, the way that people know you at home. And with you having this in 9 degrees Aquarius, this means that you had to deal with being an immature and irresponsible person that was due to a sudden separation from a parent during childhood, or this may have been the root of difficulties with finding peace in your life. With this particular degree, a partner was going to always be necessary for you to succeed. There was something about you getting married or finding your other half that was going to be the censure for you stepping into your own creativity, your own self-expression, and finally being able to express that. Um, because it looks like you have the ability with this here to put something online and really make a name for yourself, and also to work in film or music or anything that allows people to bring their fantasies or their dreams to reality. And that's really great based upon what you told me you already do. Like there's so many avenues you could take that. All right, so we're going to move on to the next planet you have here after I look at the aspects to your moon. So over here we got trine. So that means that this aspect of you needing a partner was working with your Jupiter, which means your ability to expand within yourself. So that need for a partner, that desire, that finding a partner was going to help you multiply in confidence and all those good things. It's also working with the restriction you had. So did it happen after 30 that you found the partner that you currently have, or around the time you were 28 or anything like that? But the energies were working with that for you to move. Like if you had a really bad breakup or something or anything around that, this would have been the reason. Um, Also working with your ascendant. So this aspect is working with you, developing who you are, you finding the partner that is really pulling the pieces together for you was important. Like it's destiny, it appears. So next we have your Chiron. Your Chiron is your wound in life that was inflicted in order for you to help other people with this wound. You're supposed to overcome this, or sort of always sort of have it with you to keep you focused, as shouldly as that sounds. Now, with you having your Chiron in 22 degrees at Taurus, This degree describes a reversal of fortune at the pinnacle of your career. But this fall is linked with your social status. What does that mean? Like, it's the higher you go up, um, if you are considered a nice person, it goes well. If you are considered a not, excuse me, not so nice person, it does not go well. Assess your weaknesses, be aware of your flaws because you are such a talented person. Um, Cockiness would be your downfall. There's a difference between cocky and confident. I think that's what it's trying to indicate here. And also for you to be careful and beware of actual physical falls because of this. Um, that's some pretty handy information, I think. Um, this Chiron, which is down here, actually doesn't have any heavy aspects to it. These are little simple things that I don't make a note of. I make a note of these color ones here. Those are the ones that kick your ass. So let's move on to your midheaven, which is important because this is your idea of heaven on earth. And this is actually a peak that just was activated with the North Node, which is the hand of fate recently. So you recently just had like a return for a peak in your life. With this being in Cancer, it has something to do with your home being happy or your family or just a good comforting time in your life. Now, with your midheaven at 5 degrees Cancer, this means you're intelligent, but sometimes you have to deal with self-centeredness um, or being disrespectful of other people's feelings. So you have supposed to learn to tame your instincts, tame yourself to not immediately jump when you feel something. And I know that must be difficult because you have your Mars, which is your passion, your anger, your aggression, your drive, right here in the front, um, on your shoulders, so to speak. So that Mars at 18 degrees in Cancers means you're refined and smart, and you're really good at fighting and music equally. This also means that sometimes you have shifts in your mood that other people can't understand. You might be extremely happy one moment, and then they don't understand why you go quiet the next. Just because your moods are like that with you having your Mars in Cancer, especially with this degree, there's some definite shifting. So let's look at this. Your midheaven isn't really, hold on, your midheaven is square the Saturn we talked about, and the Jupiter, just things with yourself, were blocking from before, but after your partnership came into play, these things were sort of going to be dissolved and overcame. So we're going to look now at that Mars on here. Where we at? There we go. Mars is square that Jupiter, so that means that aggression was working against you being able to be your best self at some point. The aggression was working against you transforming at some point. Lovely how this works out, eh? And nice we had that chat as well. Okay, so your North Node, this is like the highlight of the chart, that and your ascendant. This is who you came to be, what you came to do, the path you came to take. This is your North Node, and this comes around or starts a new run around for you to reach the next level up at 18 and 36, 50 something after that. But either way, every time it's a level up. It's 18-year cycles of building on who you came to be and the thing you came to do. And so with you having your North Node in Leo at 1 degree, you came to be indecising, ever-changing, and whimsical. Sometimes your mood swings may appear extreme to others. You may go from extremely optimistic to extremely in despair. World travel is important in your career. When that starts to happen for you, other pieces of your life are coming together, will come together. Your intelligence is the main instrument that you were given to be successful. There's also a note for you to be careful near water. So these are things just on your path to be aware of. With these in your 10th house, this is the house of like your reputation, your career, how you appear to the world. This is the house of fame. So your passion and your purpose are in this house. Next, this is the 11th house, the 11th house of um, associations, online, being online, technology, the future, humanity, connecting with other people, the groups you believe in, the groups you belong with. That's where you really shine, and that's where your voice is best heard. These are also your fans. So with you having that in Leo, that's your sun, your identity, your ego. In Leo at 21 degrees, um, this gave you some naivety and indecisivity. I made that up. Yes, I did. Indecisiveness due to being lied to during your childhood or any dangers you endured then. Um, you felt like an outsider, or your family seemed like outsiders, and you even seemed like an outsider in your family because of this. Um, you have to deal with a lot of enemies. You don't realize early on in life that sometimes you seek help from the people who are jealous of you, not even realizing that they are jealous of you because of this. You have to especially beware of jealous people around you, even in your family. The more successful you are, the more the people around you start to change because of this. Just being who you are, um, that's something that you have to deal with, which is wild, right? Like the more money, the more problems. That was my note on that one. More money, more problems. Like the more you go along, you have to be careful. Measure your happiness on a regular basis. Just make sure that you don't wake up one day and notice that a lot of the things that you found important um, are not there anymore, but you got the fame. That's what this warning is pretty much. So with you having Mercury, the way you speak, the way you express yourself in Leo in the 26-degree range, well, it is 26 degrees. You are a vigilante. This is rebellious. Beware of violence with your words and fighting with your friends or in groups. Use your intellect and all that passion to further yourself in your career and not to argue or not to use it for, I guess, clout is what it's saying. Because a lot of this gives me reality star or online booty, messing everything up. Beauty guru energy, like you'd be fighting with Jeffree Star or some shit. Like, don't do that. Use your energy towards furthering your causes and the things you believe in, and not arguing with the other people who work in entertainment or in the public eye, because that's definitely what this is telling you about. So the last thing we're going to look at here is the are the aspects to your sun and your Mercury, and then this Venus, how you earn your money and how you handle that. So with your sun here, your sun is square. Your sun, who you are, in that little aspect I just told you about, that jealousy and stuff, works against your ability to wield your power. I guess in the beginning you didn't want to wield your power, or even now maybe that's possible. It's just something instinctively you did not want to show anybody how powerful you were, because something inside you let you know if you follow the success that you really wanted, that a lot of people would be jealous. You might be lonely because of that. So that's what that hump is. Also with your son trine working with um, this karma that you have in relationships. Well, that's interesting. I'm messing every word up, right? Don't judge me. My Mercury is natally in retrograde. That means everything just runs wild. It's not fair. So your identity, your ego, who you are working with or were working with, the way that you express your creativity in your words for this one, because the positive aspect, you got to change the tone of it. So with this sun square, your Chiron, that means the wounds you have in regards to, I guess this is your connection with other people's money. Maybe did you grow up poor by any chance? That would be an opportunity for this square to happen. Or you grew up, well, it did say you came from humble means, so maybe just now you didn't always have what you want and you were aware of it, but this was meant for you to overcome through being who you are and networking, which is wonderful, right? Just go out there and talk to people and people love you. That's pretty much what this is saying. You go out there in the world and people really rock with you. The aspects to your Mercury are a square, so the things you say and the way you think used to work against the big changes you needed to make in order to get in contact with your own power. Um, with your Mercury trine, this Neptune, that means the way that you think, you thought, think one or the other, and the way you express yourself work together. the way that you just let stuff fly out of your mouth will work in your favor. In regards to how you earn your coins, because that's where your Venus is in the 12th house, which is ruled by Neptune. Um, and having this Venus at 25 degrees, this means you're a vigilante. Um, but I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm like, hold on, I just said it. That really tickled me. So, with you having your Venus here in the 12th house, this means that your success is linked with your happiness here. You have to be careful with your words in dealing with other people. This is the house of your self undoing, isolation, um, all the leftover things from karma. And with you here, you're learning about love, value, and they are connected for you with this year in the sign of Virgo. Your service to self versus service to others is real hardcore here. Like the more you do for yourself, if you forget about others, the more you lose. But the more you do for others and you bring into balance with self, the more you earn. Like you have a lot of things linked here, like lots of rewards linked with lots of sacrifice and lots of pieces in place. So your Venus sextile, that means working with your change. So the money would be released when you made the change that you needed to make to step into your powers and your gifts of persuasion and not being afraid to show who you really are anymore. And so that was working against the way that you express yourself without a filter. Hilarious. Um, Now, this is trying. That means that your money is working with the wound. So the fact that you were sort of impoverished or you didn't have what you wanted early in life, you didn't get the luxuries you wanted, is what's going to fuel you to get your money. That's pretty great. So, ma'am, go get the bag. That's what this is saying. Let me know if you have any questions. And thank you so much for this opportunity.